let's talk about Turkey. Now, Turkey is not a full member yet of the European Union. All right? They are trying to get there. And the European Union has said that they've met a certain number of the criteria, but not all yet. But where this is headed is if somebody has a Turkish passport, go ahead, think it through, they can go anywhere in Europe. Now, we have a massive amount of illegal immigration that is going through Turkey at various points. Turkey is trying to buffer back against the people coming in from Syria. But the bigger problem with Turkey is that there are so many so-called radical Muslims there. All right? There are people there who believe in Sharia law. Turkey is where Istanbul is. Istanbul used to be Constantinople. Hagia Sophia. Let's look at this picture of Hagia Sophia. It was the most famous and largest church in the world right up until St. Peter's was built, and then Hagia Sophia was stolen by the Muslims and converted into a mosque. Now it's a museum. Almost 100 years ago, Ataturk, Kemal Ataturk was the leader of Turkey at that point and said, we're going to take this from being a mosque and make it a museum. Nevertheless, it's not a church. Christianity was obliterated in Turkey by Muslims. Armenian Christians were slaughtered in Turkey by Muslims. And there is a huge portion of the Turkish population that are radical Muslims that want Sharia law. And so there's European nations that are saying the minute that they get the full green light for the European Union, these radical, devout Muslims can have full access through our borders, and we can't stop them. You better believe they're nervous. And Turkey's a member of NATO. They're a member of NATO. I mean, let the full weight of that sink in on you. So when Turkey shot down that Russian jet a few months ago, if Russia had said, we're going to fight Turkey, Turkey could have invoked the NATO alliance and said, you guys all have to defend us, including America, from Russia. So we've got a radical Muslim-based nation, historically one of the great enemies of Christianity and a great enemy of liberty to this day, in NATO and trying to get into the European Union. Okay? Now just picture you're an Englishman and you're thinking, Turkey wants to have it so that they can come into my country anytime they want. I don't think so. And so the people said, we're done. Cameron, the prime minister, who has been he's been squishy. He doesn't understand Islamic terrorism. He has tried to help the United States of America, but he just doesn't get it. He staked his political future on staying in the European Union, and he lost. So he announced that he is going to resign, and they will try and have a new prime minister in by October to lead Great Britain into this next era. But the average person in the street in England is rejoicing. They're just thrilled. And the average person at the upper echelon, the elitist, they're shook. They're shook. And the Democrat Party is shook because it's the same spirit. Do you understand? It's the same spirit. The spirit of patriotism. This is our country. These are our borders. This is our money. And we don't want people just to be able to come here, especially people who will not assimilate. They will not assimilate. You know, when the elite who are deceivers, who are not educated properly when it comes to the history of Islam and the history of Islamic terrorism, they're just not. When they try and say, well, look what happened when the Italians came here, or the Irish, or the Germans, and all of the infighting. Right, but here was the glaring difference. The Irish were Catholic. The Italians were Catholic. The Germans were either Lutheran Protestants or Bavarian Catholics. So at the end of the day, there might have been language barriers, and there might have been cultural differences, and there might have been fights over jobs, but they still went to church, they went to Mass, and they said, Jesus is Lord. We believe the Apostles' Creed. And within a generation, they learned English, and they assimilated, and their kids were playing with each other, no problem. But with Islam, they're not going to assimilate in one generation or two or three, because you and I, the non-Muslims, we are the infidels, all right? Got to take another break, but stay with me because I'm tired of people mixing and matching, comparing Italians to Muslims. I'm an Italian, and I ain't a Muslim, I promise you.